Hey everyone, Chris Haddon, Jason Balin, co-founders of HardMoneyBankers.com, REI360.net, here with a very cool special edition of the show. We are going to be interviewing each other. We're going to be asking each other 3 questions about, it could be finance, it could really be whatever, entrepreneurship, business, and we're just going to see where it goes. We're going to try to keep it somewhat concise and put out some good stuff.
Yeah, as you can see, we are live here in our Columbia, Maryland studios. Our office is here. We're excited to be here, and we each have 3 questions for each other. We're going to try to keep them about a minute each, but all the topics are going to be real estate, entrepreneur, small business, finance, things like that. So,
and mind you, Jason doesn't know my questions, and I don't know his.
Exactly. So everybody in the audience, you will definitely learn something, and it's going to be very entertaining. So stay tuned for the next 10 minutes and check it out right now.
All right, who's going first?
Whatever you want. I'll go first. You can ask me the first question, and then we'll round robin back and forth.
Question for Jason, number 1. Out of all the real estate investors that you've seen, that you've talked to, all the clients that we've had, and there's a ton of them, obviously, being in business for this amount of time, who, and you don't have to say anyone's name, whose business is your favorite and why?
So they're the type of business?
Yeah, just like one that you've seen and said, that one is my favorite, I like that one the most. And you don't have to say anyone.
No, that's good. And that's a good question, because there's 2 types of businesses. There's the one-man operation who does a few deals a year, and their goal is they're very hands-on and they do everything, and they make, you know, a lot of money per transactions, and there's the other people who do hundreds of deals a year, and hopefully they make a lot of money as well, but you know, their day-to-day is very different. Sure. I kind of like a hybrid between the 2. I like the setup that you're doing 25-ish deals a year, right? You always have 7 to 10 going on at any given time.
What kind of mix of deals, deal types?
Deal types?
We're doing flips, wholesales, rentals.
A little bit of everything. I mean, you know, I have the philosophy as if a wholesale deal is that good, you might as well flip it and make the other profits on it, unless it's in an area that you don't really want to be in, and then wholesale it. Especially if you're doing that many deals.
Want to run yourself.
Exactly, that many deals. But I like the fact of, you know, the 25% rule of for every, I flip 3 houses and I buy 1 as a rental. Right, and it keeps me cash flow that way.
25 a year.
25 a year, and at that you have you know, some administrative help. You have the budget to pay a full-time bookkeeper, and you have the budget to bring on somebody else like a construction manager, maybe help you with marketing and things like that.
I like that answer.
So,
cool.
To me, that's the size. Okay, cool. So first question for you. We always talk about the term snowball. Mm-hmm. And we think snowballs are important. It's an important term, and if you want, you can describe it a little bit. But in your opinion, what is the most important snowball to have for somebody that does not have a snowball?
Snowball number 1?
Snowball number 1, most important if they're a real estate investor, if they're a real estate agent, if they're an entrepreneur, they're just starting a business. Like, where do they start first?
What's snowball number 1? Good question. I like that one, and I have been obsessed with snowballs recently. And I draw them on whiteboards, and I have them in spreadsheets, and I'm just constantly, you know, we planted trees and we're watching them grow. So that is the key to awesome things happening later on. Snowball number 1, just starting. I mean, I guess I'd have to go with retirement account. That might not be like the most interesting answer, but is it 401k? Is it self-directed IRA? Whatever it is, you got to do that first. I mean, and then you can expand out into other things. You can do, you know, investment property, primary residence, like all kinds of stuff. But like day number 1 in the workforce, like just don't put it off. Start investing in a retirement account. Snowball number 1.
That's different than I would have expected. I thought you were going to say, you know, market your sphere of influence and create a database, an email database on a business side. But
yeah, I mean, if you were asking number 1, you know, you get a paycheck in 2 weeks in that job, and you should be contributing to the 401k.
Got it. Okay, cool. Question 2. Oh wait, you asked me the question. I was already ready to ask my other question to you.
Okay, question number 2, and we're going to go a little deep here. We're going to start getting into it.
Good, because I got a deep one too next.
Okay. What is your biggest fear in business?
What is my biggest fear in business? Okay, so I always have a concern that you know, everyone wants to get big, right? And I have a concern of getting big. Like too big scares me a little bit, especially in the world that we live in and the businesses that we're in, because the more deals you do, the more liabilities could occur.
True.
Lawsuits could occur for a lot of things. I mean, we've seen, as you know, we grow a portfolio of over 200 properties plus lots of rentals and other stuff. You know, we get dragged into lawsuits we have nothing to do with. Right, really, like we're dragged into stuff, and there's attorney fees and other stuff. So like, I have fears of getting too big, and I kind of have in the back of my head, because see, the problem is, if you get too big and then you're used to being that size, and then all of a sudden there's a drastic shift, and you're downsizing. I've never had to downsize in business before, but if you had to downsize, like that's something that would scare me a little bit. So, you know, I'm one of the things I'm proud of over time is we've grown rapidly but slowly at the same time, you know, over time, and we've grown this way. And obviously we always talk about, I will take no boom if it prevents ever having a bust. Like, I don't want a boom and I don't want a bust. I want this rapidly, and I want to grow rapidly. You know, I want to build staff, I want to do more deals, I want to be more profitable. I want it all to happen that way, and I do get concerned of potentially getting, you know, too big and then maybe losing control. And that's not an answer that a lot of people would say. They'd say, hey, if you're, you know, lending $35 million this year and you can lend $70 million next year, why wouldn't you do it as long as it meets the same criteria? And not that I'm not against that, but I do have some concerns of getting too big and things spiraling out of hand.
I like it.
Cool. Got a little deep question for you too. Okay, in our current state of our business, of where we're at now, what do you think is the most gratifying part of it and of where we're at? Now that changes, and I know that changes of where we've been over time, and we prioritize things. Some things are important to you back in the day that might not be important now, and vice versa. But as of we sit right now, what is one of the most gratifying things?
For me personally?
For you personally, of like where our operation is on a business size.
Okay. The most gratifying thing for me personally is being able to look at our business, and that means the people in it, the office space, the, you know, portfolio, and just knowing that it's something that we built ourselves and it's a real thing. It pays people money, employees, investors. It's like when I come in here, when I roll in here to the office on the weekends, like I will sometimes just sit here and look around and be like, this is fucking cool. That's really what is most gratifying to me, that we've built a real, tangible, awesome thing.
Cool. I got no comment because I agree. You're up.
All right. What would you say is your best trait in business?
Okay.
It's good, isn't it?
These are good questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fun.
Okay. I would think a lot of people would agree with this if they said this about themselves, but I truly believe it's instinct.
Instinct.
I believe it's instinct, and I feel I immediately have a knack for something like a deal. I mean, we're in the deal business, and you know, and you got to go with your gut feel. And if something doesn't feel right, it doesn't work. And if something does feel right, you got to be confident. And you got to continue to go with it. So I do believe that a lot of people have bad instinct too. I mean, we know a lot of entrepreneurs, and we know a lot of business guys that just, I feel like whatever they do is just the wrong thing, and
like every decision's the wrong one.
Yeah, and they just don't get it. And I feel that these types of deals click, and you know, I can get on the phone with somebody really quick and kind of solve a problem, and it's just kind of comes. So for what it's worth, I'm happy about it.
Good one. Good one.
Okay.
All right, final question.
Next question, and this isn't a deep one. I should have given you another deep question, but now my question for Chris.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you recommend to a newer entrepreneur or somebody out there that wants to start a business, but they're just scared, and they don't really know what to do, and they're scared to leave? And keep in mind, this isn't like a wannabe type of person. This is somebody who's successful in whatever they're doing now, maybe a 9-to-5 job or a different profession, but they really are passionate about something and they want to take the hurdle and kind of go all in and start a business. What would you recommend where they get started? Some tips and things related to that.
I would say two things. One is a real serious gut check first. You know, starting a company from nothing, growing it's not for everyone. It's not for most people. It's not for the faint of heart. And you have to think about your own personality and your ability to be proactive on your own without any kind of boss. You have to think about your risk tolerance and think about if that kind of up and down thing is for you. It's not for most people. So number one would be a gut check. Number two, I would start by researching and examining and picking the right business model. And mind you, a lot of people would say, well, I love this X. You know, I love baking cookies or whatever it may be, so I want to go with that. And I would say look at the model because they vary greatly. And two things related to the model. One is that something that you're going to be good at, and mind you, it's a little bit different than passion, being good at something. And also just the numbers. Look at what kind of business models make what kind of money. And because they come out different than you think, and you know, breaking it down to how much profit is produced by X amount of hours of work can be the make or break of your company.
Yeah, and I mean, I do believe that you can make money in almost any business. I really do believe that.
Yeah.
But some of them are a lot easier than others, and your personality type may not attract to that. But you do have to have a passion for your business first. So
yeah, but it's not the only thing, and it shouldn't be.
Agreed. And even though this is your question, one quick thing I was going to add to it because a lot of our audience are real estate investors and real estate agents and real estate professionals, is I always look at things two ways, like as a scale. Like there's education and then there's like action. And on one side, and neither one of these are great sides. On one side, everyone's just learning, education. They never take the hurdle of doing anything,
True.
and you can't do anything. And on the other end, which is the irresponsible, scary way, is there's a lot of people that don't know what the hell they're doing, but they're action takers, and they just jump into business, and they screw sellers, they do fraud. They don't even know they're doing anything bad because they don't know. So I almost think like this can relate to most businesses of, you know, learn, take action. I mean, we all know action is one of the most important things, but at the same time, it still has to balance with the understanding of knowing what you're doing. Cool. So what did you think of the show?
I like the show. I like that kind of format. I think we can, you know, expand this out in the future, get into some niche things, get into some bigger, like overarching kind of questions. Let us know what you think for anyone tuned in. I mean, please leave us a review or a like or a share, whatever it may be, depending on where you are consuming this content. And yeah, we'll do it again if everyone likes it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're happy to answer any questions anybody has. Comment below, like, share below. REI360.net, hardmoneybankers.com. That's where you can find us, or just walk into our office in Columbia, Maryland. We're here, we're not hiding. You know, we love working with entrepreneurs, real estate agents, real estate investors, things like that. That's what we do every day and we like it. So hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next time. Take care.